Hey everyone, I just want to show you where I'm sitting because it's so gorgeous. So grateful to be in a space like this on a beautiful Saturday morning. And if you know this area well, you'd have to know it extremely well actually to know the exact sand dune that I'm sitting behind. But it is a beautiful place, and I've just been for my morning walk, and I've been pondering and reflecting as I like to do. And what I've been thinking about is further about our topic of leadership for this month, but leadership from the perspective of how we're actually motivating people. And are we creating that motivation either in our families or in our workplaces? Is it a motivation of fear? And are we trying to get people to head a particular direction or do what we need them to do by using threats or punishment? And those things can sometimes be implicit, and sometimes they can be explicit. So in an organisation, for example, you could get a lot of people feel as though they are actually being led through fear, because the fear that they might have could be losing their jobs, as an example, or losing their position. There could be a range of different fears that people might have within an organisation if you choose to motivate by fear. The interesting thing about motivation by fear is it actually does work. However, there's a lot of additional parts you need to know. It does work, but it only works on a short-term basis, so that's one of the most important things. So you can only scare the bejesus out of people for so long to do something before they will rebel or give up or leave. People don't like to tolerate those kinds of environments. So although it works, it only works in a really short-term kind of basis. And it also only works with small numbers of people at any one point in time. It's an interesting thing when there is someone who's more driven by or motivated by love in a group of others that are motivated by fear. And what you start to see happen in that kind of scenario is that person's love for themselves or for each other starts to permeate very powerfully around them. And I've seen this happen in a number of different examples. I think first let's address this thing, because people can have a reluctance to feel like the word love should even be used in the workplace. But I certainly have a different view to that. My view is that we are all humans, and we go through our life and we do a bit of stuff at work, a bit of stuff in the family, a bit of stuff in our relationships. We're not different people. We're not different versions of ourselves. And all of those different areas that we find ourselves in, we need love, and we want to give love to other people. And sometimes the circumstances make that easier than others. And I think organisationally, this is the interesting point about fear versus love motivation and leadership style, is that some leaders create the conditions around them that encourage other people to be scared. They encourage other people to use self-protective behaviours. They encourage other people to be dishonest. They encourage other people to become more aggressive in the workplace. And that's the key thing that these leaders don't understand. There's a real lack of understanding that the behaviour that they demonstrate, if they're leading a team or an organisation, or even if you're a parent, the behaviour that you demonstrate is sending messages loud and clear to people around you. And those messages are sent whether you like them or not. The part that you have that you actually can have some control over is that you can choose to send certain messages if you adjust your own behaviour. So people are watching you all the time as a leader, and if they see you interacting with other people in a way that's fear-based, guess what they do? It's not rocket science. If they see you interacting with other people around you from this position of love and surrender and wanting you and everyone in the organisation to be the best version of themselves, then guess what happens? It's not rocket science. Hi Carol, thanks. Put in your comment, Carol, if you've got anything as we're going along, because I'd love to include it. So I was just doing this reflection as I was walking along the beach this morning, and I just had this really overwhelming feeling of, what would it be like in our relationships and in our families and in our schools and our teams and our organisations if we could walk in and we could make every decision from this position of love. And I just want to wrap up this live stream with a quick story about my daughter. I like telling stories about my kids, but one of my daughter's goals is to be school captain, and she's a 10-year-old little girl, and if you have 10-year-old little girls, if they're like mine, you'll realise they're quite bossy. And so recently I was having quite a good conversation with her, and I was saying to her, look, if you actually want to reach your goal of being school captain, I said there's 2 ways you can go about it. I said one way is that you can be bossy and in effect make everyone scared of you, and they'll do what you want, but behind your back they're going to be going, we're not going to vote for her, she's not our leader, because they won't support you because you'll be motivating by fear. And I said to her, the other way that you can do it, it's a little bit more tricky, a little bit more subtle, and you need to be a bit clever about how you're influencing people around you. I said, but the basic idea is that you just go around and love people who are around you. And you could see this penny drop in her mind where she had this click, and you could see that she got it. And I'm sure that's not going to mean that overnight she's not bossy anymore, but I'm hoping that that will be a little bit of a guide and a way forward for her. And for anyone else who's watching as well, hi Kathleen, for all of you, what I'd encourage you to do is, even if you are in the minority in your workplace or your situation, is promote love and demonstrate loving behaviours, not because of any other reason apart from the fact that we are all human and we all want to give and receive love. And the amazing thing that happens is, if we work in conditions where love is all around us and we feel safe, we suddenly blossom and we become everything that is possible about who we are, and we finally have a little bit of chance to head toward our human potential. And to me, that's the most exciting bit, because that's what being more human is all about, is about helping shift individuals, teams and organizations through loving each other, not in a warm, fluffy, fuzzy manner, in an actual practical, we can achieve this together kind of manner. And so what I'd encourage you to do, like I was saying, is even if you're in a minority in the workplace, go out there and treat people with a little bit more love and just see what happens. Make decisions from a place of love, abundance, generosity, and you watch the world around you ripple out and change in every single decision that you make. Hopefully you have an absolutely beautiful weekend, and I'm going to continue my walk. You can jump on our website, which is 3wsbeingmorehuman.com.au, and we have a Facebook group called Being More Human Circle. And if you would like to be part of that, just find us through Facebook and ask to join our group. And we have all sorts of interesting discussions on that group. So have a fantastic weekend. I'm just going to read Carol's comment as we're going. Working in a caring environment makes such a difference to your working life. Absolutely. It's a difference between waking up and going, yes, I want to go to work, and waking up and going, oh crap, do I have to go to work? And to me, I know which version of the world that I'd like to live in. So have an amazing weekend, and we'll catch you in our next discussion on leadership. Cheers.